Hi everybody, it's Jeanette Vilda, and I'm here to share with you a project using the Yuletide Tessa paper collection by Thoughtful Studio. We're going to create a card that fits into an envelope, but has a special little surprise in it. So we'll get to that. Let me first show you these wonderful, beautiful papers. Thoughtful Studio always supplies you with these swatches. I love them. I instantly print them out and then put them on these rings. And you can see here's some previous swatches. And then I put the name on the back. And if, for instance, I can number them. And then if I'm planning out a project, I can say this is caramel number 1. And then I can match that up and always remember what paper I was going to use. So I love having these swatches. Plus, you can then test out your inks on these papers. And if you want, you then mark, okay, this was the distress ink, whatever color. This is, this color, this is this color. And then in future projects, you know how it's going to look on the paper. So I really like that. And you can see I've done that quite a bit. So this one's got the little ink all over it. I like to do that. Okay, so let's take a look at these gorgeous papers. The whole collection is a number of beautiful colors with these same 5 designs. So you have these candy canes with the little cups, these little flowers, which is really pretty. I like this, little turtle doves, some cute sweaters, and the ornaments. And you can either purchase the collection in just the color that you prefer, a number of colors, or the entire collection and get all of these gorgeous colors. So let's see what colors we got. The first one we have here is caramel. See, write them on the back, you remember. Really pretty. It's got a slight, like a little cream in the background. And then this one is cherry. This is the collection, or the color that I've used, and you can see a number of my creations using this. And there is the turtle doves. There it is. Just was being stubborn. That's cherry, or sorry, cherry. And this is crimson, which is a really gorgeous, not quite red. It's a really unique red. I really love it. So that's crimson. And then we've got golden. Very pretty. And then this is coral. We all love coral. I love the look of it. Cotton. And this is the paper that I'm using with the project today. And this has a really nice white, stark white background, kind of makes it, you think of candy canes. And then we have icicle, really pretty, kind of a gray blue. Tone on tone, really nice. And then matcha, which I just adore because matcha tea, I love matcha tea. It's a really pretty green. So that is the collection. Let's see how we can use it in a project. So what I've done is created a card using, again, the cotton paper. And it fits into an envelope, and you can use any sized envelope. The envelope that I have used today is 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. But any envelope, rectangle, square, will work for this project. And I'll show you how to determine your sizes based on your envelope. You do keep in mind that your different sized envelopes, larger envelopes, weirdly shaped envelopes, may require extra postage. So keep that in mind. And you can see I've decorated my envelope with the anticipation of just handing it to the receiver. And I've used some of the elements from the ephemera page to decorate my envelope, and used another piece as a nice little seal. So when I'm ready, I can add a little glue to my seal and seal up my envelope. So let's see this card. Looks normal, but then you pop, and we have a lantern. Take a little tea light, and mine is almost dead, so it's not going to show too much, but there we have a cute little lantern. Takes your Christmas card to the next level, so they can put it on their table and have a really nice little decoration for Christmas. And again, it fits perfectly into your envelope, and you can use the back to write your message. Either I've decorated the back with one of the papers. You can do that and then maybe add a little white piece of paper and write your message, or leave it blank and put your message directly on the card. So as you can see, the basic construction for the card, it's pretty simple. We've got 2 pieces of cardstock. The middle portion is sized to be an inch off smaller than my envelope going each side. So that's why I'm saying you can use any size envelope. If I had a rectangle and my rectangle was, let's say, 6 by 5, then I would want this portion of my card to be 5 by 4. So if I just take an inch off each direction, I can ensure that it will easily fit into my envelope. It gives me much room for that extra bulk that you have with the card. The wings, call them wings, on the side here are really, the size of them is completely up to you. The only thing you want to think about is that they do fold into the middle. So you want to make sure that if you're making a nice big wing so it's nice and wide, that they still fit within the width of the main card piece. What I've done here with mine is the part that gets glued together is 1 inch wide, and this piece here that forms the sides of the card is 2 3/8. And like I said, it's completely arbitrary. It's what you think looks best, and I just really liked that look and those widths, so that's what I used. And again, as long as it folds up and fits inside, any size will do, whatever you like the most. So let's look at how to make this. It's simple, simple, simple. Like I said, we need 2 pieces of cardstock. Start with the width that will fit into your envelope. So again, inch off. And then go from there. So like I said, this was my, let's see, what was my size? 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, because I took an inch off of 6 3/4. And then went out from there, each side 2 3/8, and then out from there 1 inch. And so the total is about 10.5 inches wide. And I made 2 of them. I've already cut my aperture in this one to show you, but made 2 of them. And of course you want to emboss in your folds. And again, that's completely arbitrary as to how wide you want each of these pieces to be. But I do recommend when burnishing these, burnish them in both directions. So I would use my bone folder, burnish this direction, and then fold it over and burnish in that direction. You can see that you might get a little bit of feathering breakage, so use really good heavy cardstock. That will ensure that even with a little bit of breakage, it won't rip. And if you hear my kitty in the background, she is very mad that I'm not completely paying attention to her. So to do the aperture, all I did was decided, how big I wanted the aperture to be. I made a template. So mine is, I think it's 3 3/4 3.5. Let me grab a, it is 3 3/4. Yeah, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I just took another piece of paper, cut it to that size, and then eyeballed it, drew the around my template, and then I used my X-Acto knife to cut it out. Simple. Now, if you want, you could use a die, square die. A nice choice might be Spellbinders, for instance, has label dies that are really cute. That would make a really nice aperture in your lantern. Anything you want to do. Now, for mine, because for this one, I wanted to mat the paper around the outside of the aperture, and I used the plain vellum for this one. To get that matting, I like to have an 1/8 of an inch, you know, basically around, and I wanted that 1/8 of an inch also here in the middle. To get that, what I did was, and I'm just going to use a piece of paper here, so let's pretend that this is the sides that would be matted for this. What I then did was put it on my card, so I had it exactly where I wanted it, turned it over, used a pencil, and I outlined, I'll go ahead and do it here to show you, outlined where the aperture ended up on the paper. Then took my template, my original template, and just laid it into that square, so it's nicely in the square. And as you can see, I've already found the middle point of each of the sides, and there, eyeballing it there. I found the middle point of all 4 sides, and then drew a line out from those pieces. Then made another template, and since this was 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, this is 4 by 4. Like I said, I like an 1/8 of an inch mat all the way around, and so based on how much you want, it will determine the size of your second template. Then I placed it on and got it till all of those, found the middle point of all sides on there, put it down until I lined them up with all the lines that I had originally made, traced that square, and that, as you can see, well, because I was just kind of eyeballing it, but it should give you that 1/8 of an inch spacing around. And so if I then cut that out, then when I put it onto my card, I will have a perfect border. So very easy to do if you want to mat around your aperture. And you would do the exact same thing if, for instance, you used a Spellbinders die. Find the middle points. So there may be an easier way to do it, but that is the simplest way in terms of understanding how to get her done. Okay, so turn that guy over. So I'm not going to mat this one. I am going to mat these pieces though. So I've already got those cut out. 4, so I've got 2 for these and 2 for these. Now for this paper, just to let you know, I'm a inker. I love to ink around all my edges. I used the Delicata Rose Gold. It gives it, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it gives it a nice little shimmer. And it went really nicely with the color. So I'm going to get out my scrap paper that I use for gluing. And I'm just going to glue these guys down. And I'll do the same on the other side. those down. So, let's see. What can I talk about while I'm just sitting here gluing? You're just watching me glue stuff. Yeah, because I can glue and talk at the same time. Apparently not. I need a new page on my glue book. Okay, so I got that all matted. Now the back of my lantern, card lantern, I'm going to use, I have a paper that is the same paper as I'm using for my aperture piece. And I'm going to put that on the back, and there we go. And I've already taped this up, so if I can just get it off, then we'll put that on. And this will put a nice little decoration on the back. And like I said, if you want to use that space to write a message, you can either leave it blank and then put your message on, or like I'm doing here, have it matted and then put another, depending on how busy your paper is, you can put another piece. For instance, with this one I would use white to match the white of the cardstock, and then write your message there. Okay, almost done. Now we need to put the vellum in our aperture so that we have a nice glow. So I've already put some tape on my vellum, and I've just sized it a little bit larger than my square to ensure that it's all covered up. And you can see I did some drawing on the other side here, so that's going to be the inside of my lantern. And that's where I made the markings for cutting the aperture. So again, that goes on the inside. Nobody will ever see it. Okay. And make sure if you're doing, for instance, double-sided tape, that you put it on the side that has the printed side. So this is the back side of the vellum and the front side of the vellum. So put it on the front side because it's going to go down and you're going to look at it from the other side of the aperture. So you want to make sure you got that going in the right direction. Alright, so there we have that. And now we have some beautiful vellum. And I just printed out, cut out some ephemera pieces from the ephemera set. And I'm going to add these on to the front of my card here for a little bit of decoration. Get back out my glue paper and get these glued. And this guy will go up here in this corner. Oop, don't want to go over. Make sure it fits in my envelope. And I got glue on the front there. Just rub it off. And then down below here, I have the Happy Holidays cut out. Oh, first I wanted, where's my little guys? Here. I love these little pieces that are added in the ephemera set. I'm going to put, going to put one of these guys under the, can I still get that back up? Yeah, I can. There. I wanted to put him up there like this. And then, let's see where I want to put him, just like that. So, oop, yeah, I already glued him up. Make sure he goes right where I want him to be. So we'll put him like this. And then my Happy Holidays will go here. And so there's the front of my lantern. So now all we have to do is put the two pieces together. You can do this with double-sided tape or with glue. I'm going to use glue. Make sure if you have paper that has a direction, so for instance here the sweaters are kind of going in that direction, make sure it's lined up and going in the same direction as the front. So there we go. So I know that everybody's going in the same direction. And that's not true because I put my sweaters on this side in the other direction. That looks pretty cute. I like it. So I'm going to put glue on the inside flap. So I'm looking at the inside on this most outer piece, edge to edge. And again, you can use double-sided tape if you prefer. I like the ability to kind of move it around when I put it together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them together. So backside to backside. And then I'm going to stand it up and kind of tap it down. This will ensure that they are nice and flat, that if the paper has any kind of curve to it, it will at least stand flat on your surface. So if I didn't cut my paper, for instance, I'm getting muck on there, but that's fine. I can get that off later. I just got a lot of glue, came off, and then I had ink on my fingers. But there's a way to get that off. Okay, oh, and I did a really good job of getting a nice piece of glue on the back side. So we'll take care of that later. So, got that side together. You notice it lays nice and flat, so I'm going to leave it flat like that and put glue on this other flap. And just close that up. Again, I'm going to stand it up and just tap it to ensure that it's nice and flat to the surface. And then just close that. And squeeze it together. Okay. I just use my finger to get the glue off. And I got a little color there. There's, let me see if I can find my little tool. Always the last place you look. Took me forever. So this is a by Tombow. It's called the sand eraser. You can get them. This is just the sand eraser by itself. They also have one that has a regular eraser on one side and the sand eraser on the other. What this is nice for is that it's like a really fine sandpaper, and you can just buff away where you've got a little bit of ink. Now, you'd obviously something when you've made a really bad smudge, it's not going to work so well. And then you want to follow it up with a normal eraser. And then just go over every place that you sanded with that eraser, and go along the side here as well. Get that. And then with my normal eraser. And you can see that cleans that up real nicely. And then on this side where I have this really bad bit here, with the sand eraser, somehow got something there, and then with your normal eraser. And that's just to kind of polish it off and get the last bits. And you can see it is gone. So, nice thing to have in your set. There's probably other brands, but I really like the Tombow. This, it's really fine and works really nicely, and as you can see, it doesn't hurt your paper at all. So that got rid of those little nigglies on there. So now we can pop open our lantern. And this is why I was saying fold them in both directions, so I can push them in and give it another squeeze, burnish that down a bit with my fingers, and there is our lantern. So, you can decorate your lantern any way you want. I'm going to leave these white. I like the starkness of it. It really focuses your attention into the aperture. Really pretty. And of course then I can put my candle down, and I'm going to have a gorgeous image coming through when the lights are off to see these wonderful little ornaments. Then all that's left to do is to decorate our envelope. And again, I've got some ephemera pieces, got my paper that I've chosen for, and that's to match my card. And here I'm just going to use my little ATG gun. Put some glue on this. Make sure this is going in the right direction. Put that on there. And then I've chosen these pieces to decorate my envelope. And it'll, let's see, we're going to do it like this. Get out the glue book again. Got the wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Make sure that's straight. And then I took this particular to from and just backed it with some white paper just to really make sure that it stands out, because my background is a little busy. Don't want you to miss the to from piece. And then we got this little love, and I'm going to put that up there in the corner. And then that will be it for my envelope. So that is our project, and like I said, any envelope will work for this. You just base your size of your middle piece on your envelope size, and there is our envelope. So when we fold up our lantern, of course the first time it's going to be a little tricky. I really push that down, make sure it lies nice and flat. This one really wants to pop up on me. But that is going to fit nicely into our envelope. Make a little seal so that I can hold it closed, and there we go. And the person who receives this is going to get a nice little surprise when they pull it out and it pops up. And you have your lantern. So, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you give this a try. Definitely go take a look at these gorgeous Yuletide Tessa papers at Thoughtful Studio. And if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, we will see you next time. Bye-bye.